we helped her purchase 2 properties, one for own stay and one that she has been renting out. So that is the topic we are talking about, on block properties, but we want to look for units which today are unblockable. Okay, so before we start on today's topic, I'm going to be asking our dear friend Elfie here some questions. Particularly if you're in the market to buy a resale property today, what kind of options would you consider? Resale?
Probably resale, something big, something within my budget, 1.4, 1.3 with a balcony. So unfortunately, it has to be an older property.
Yep. I mean, new launch is clearly out.
Yeah, new launch is clearly out.
But even within the resale property market, you said old,
yeah,
right? But when you say old, what kind of age are we talking about?
Probably less personally, something less than 15.
Less than 15 years old. Not exactly what I want to talk about, because I want to talk about properties which are over 15 years old.
Okay.
Particularly old projects which are Enblocable.
Right.
Alright. For example, in the last Enbloc cycle, which happened in 2018, there were over 80 projects which went en bloc. One of my close relatives walked away with 1.7 mil in cash, thanks to her own en bloc property getting en bloc lah. After which we helped her purchase 2 properties, one for own stay and one that she has been renting out. So that is the topic we are talking about, en bloc properties, but we want to look for units which today are unblockable.
Right.
So after going over 80 projects which went through the en bloc hammer in 2016, 2017, 2018, we found that there were certain traits amongst common traits among these 80 projects that we want to share with you today.
Right.
Alright. First trait. The first trait was something I talked about with Elfie just now. Age of a property.
Right.
You said that you're looking for projects which are under 15 years old. But do you think these projects would be high chance of getting en bloc?
Okay, so again, depends on the objective. So if the objective is trying to get en bloc or have the chance to en bloc, probably I go for something above 30.
Above 30.
Above
yeah?
30.
Okay.
But if I was thinking about capital appreciation, probably something below 15, albeit slow lah.
Yeah, so still slow, right? But still some appreciation. So above 30 years old, likely minimal capital appreciation, but chance of en bloc
Is very good.
right? Yeah, actually that's true, because in that last cycle, over 50% of all the en blocs that happened were properties which were over 30 years old, 30 to 40 years old age band. In fact, I personally thought that buying something between 15 to 20 would be a high chance,
Right.
But actually no, it has to be 30 and above. Interesting, because I personally cannot think of condos which are over 30 years old today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, most of the properties which are over 30 years old,
Probably in the very, very matured
very mature estate or HDB.
HDB. Okay.
But there are units which are of that age, and these units were en bloc. And so it looks like the common advice that we hear on the street, you should avoid older properties as much as possible because of lease decay and
Lease
all that.
decay.
Doesn't hold true if you are hunting for an unblockable property. Alright, gonna use that term a lot today.
So it really depends on the main objective of buying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so why do you think older properties are popular to being en bloc?
Probably it's cheaper to tear down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bigger space. Yeah,
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
cheaper to buy.
Correct. Yeah, because we associate older properties as cheaper options. So does the developer. Alright, when they see an old project, it is cheaper for them to buy over the entire plot of land, tear down, and then build up everything, sell to the public, pay the agents' comms and all that, and still make a profit. Alright. For example, back in 2017, in Pasir Ris has like 20, 30 over properties, condos.
Yes.
But only one which almost went en bloc, which was Elias Green. Alright, so to put things in perspective, put it on screen today. Today, Elias Green didn't go en bloc and is in the resale market going for 850 to 900 per square foot. Pasir Ris also has a brand new launch,
Pasir Ris 8.
Pasir Ris 8.
Very popular. Around $2,000 per square foot.
2,000 PSF. So
Yeah.
Elias Green is more than 50% cheaper than a brand new condo, which makes it cheap for a developer to block.
En bloc.
Yeah. Another example would be closer to town. We have South Bank. South Bank is a freehold.
99 years.
It's a 99 years lease project. 10 years plus, going for 1,007 to 2,000 PSF. Alright, but also very close to South Bank is a very iconic property. So Golden Mile Complex is the project, and it's right in the city centre. Reminder, Elias Green is going for 850 to 900 PSF. You want to guess how much Golden Mile is going for today?
Probably because it's very old.
Very old.
$700.
650.
650.
650 per square feet, cheaper than Elias Green. So I think it is a very prime candidate of
Unblockable property.
Yeah, in fact, it's in the news already that it might be going on block. But of course, there's so many things going on that price is not the only aspect. There's other factors going on, right? But that's it. Age, because of price, makes a project unblockable. The next trait is the fact that you don't want to have so many new neighbors in the property that you're buying. So for example, in Grand Link Square today, that's in
Paya Lebar.
It's a 71 residential unit project, but only one transaction in the past 6 to 12 months. Okay, so that makes it very easy. When you have so many neighbors who are all in the same boat for so long,
More than 3 years.
and then if they find that the project is so old, they don't like what's going on in the project, they want to just sell, the developer comes in, it's easy to get 80%.
Right.
Yeah. So, when we're talking about en bloc, I think one thing we were discussing just now, he brought up this analogy about a cake shop.
Okay, so I mean, if you're a developer, you need to have, you're selling cakes. So obviously, main ingredient is flour. Right? So obviously, you have to find land, dye.
I like this analogy. Yeah, so that's why en bloc happens. You only, for a developer to build houses, you only get it from government land sales.
GLS or
And if the supply of GLS is being shrunk. The only option is to go en bloc. Okay, and when it comes to developers who get the en bloc, they eventually sell and they input supply into the area.
Okay.
Now that's another trait. You don't want to have such a high supply of new homes in the area. For example, let's rewind the clock back to around 2016 and let's take a look at Tampines. Let's divide Tampines into two. Tampines West, you got a lot of condos there.
The Tampines Corridor, Tapestry, Waterview.
Tampines Corridor.
Tampines Condo Corridor.
Yeah, and then you have Tampines East, where you have no new projects at all since the Eden.
You need to cross over to find, you need to cross over to Simei to find all the other condos.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, but in Tampines, Eden was what,
1997?
1997.
Yeah.
Very long time. Very long time since there's been a new launch. Then Tampines Court got en bloc. Okay, so my relative was. Eventually, they introduced 2,000 new units in Tampines East.
Wow.
Right, and the developer was confident that even though 2,000 units, people will still buy. Because there's just no supply of new condos, and it was true. Within 2.5 years, under 3 years, they sold out everything.
Even during COVID.
That's a good point.
During COVID.
Yeah. And this is the next trait that we noticed is very popular in the last cycle. Over 80% of all the projects that went en bloc were small projects, below 30 units per project. And it also helps that these projects were also freehold. So, any idea? Any guess?
So
why
freehold is obviously the developers don't have to top up the lease to make it 99. So it's basically freehold.
If it's freehold, no need to top up lease, save money.
Right.
If it's small, you pay less taxes,
Exactly.
save money. If you small, lower fees involved, save money also, but your margins are the same.
On that note, there are some smart developers who buy freehold but give you 99 years.
Yes, has happened before. Okay, but the numbers for freehold and small, I personally feel is a bit skewed. Even though they made up over 80% of the projects that went en bloc, because 3 units that also went en bloc in the same cycle were Eunosville, Tampines Court, Rio Plaza. Correct. And these 3 projects were 99 years lease. These 3 projects were very big projects. So these 3 projects consisted of over 1,100 units. And they went en bloc. So these 3 projects, even though just 3, they make up a big bulk.
Giant, okay.
Of the percentage actually. So the numbers might be skewed in this aspect. But otherwise, there you have it. If you are camping out, hunting for a much older property than 15 years old, you might be thinking, okay, we've got en bloc potential. for it to have en bloc potential based on the common traits would be, first, you got to be looking for projects which are over 30 years old. Minimal resale transactions. You probably need to have an agent to help you check on this. Not many new supply of new homes
Around the area.
in the area, and typically it was small and freehold projects. But on that note, these four traits were typical to the last cycle. It's specific to the last cycle because a new cooling measure has emerged since then. And moving forward, if a new cycle were to start, I think there will be different traits.
Right.
Right. So if you are really looking for such properties, do work with someone experienced like us. Of course, must sell ourselves a bit. Okay, so and this same trend today may no longer hold true because there is really a serious issue of undersupply moving forward.
Right.
Alright. So if there's really undersupply of new land, developers will be more hungry and they might no longer work with the same parameters as they did back then.
I mean, in fact, if without the recent cooling measures, I think there would already be a lot more en blocs happening now.
Yep. True.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. The moment they introduce a new cooling measure, stop.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically that's it. If you're hunting for an en bloc potential property, it is high risk. Alright. But get it right, it becomes high rewards overnight. In fact, I hope you've enjoyed this discussion that we've had based on the research we did. Again, last, to top it off, there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to en bloc property. Just get someone who can help you. Elfie and I, myself, Michael, we're available. Drop us a message. Please comment if you agree with some of our pointers or if you don't agree at all. I want to hear from you also. Alright, see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.